Hey, how's it going? I'm redoing this video. I had done a similar one earlier, and for some reason, I guess it got deleted, but that's okay. It'll give me a chance to add some things in there that I didn't add before, and I hope you'll get something out of this. We're going to talk a little bit about contracts and deposits. Okay, now why would you want to make your client sign a contract? Why would you want to collect a deposit before you reserve the date? Well, the main reason is because it protects everybody. Okay, here's how it works. Now, when you sign a contract, I mean, this goes for anything. When you sign a contract and you make your client sign a contract, that shows that everybody is all in agreement on everything that's going to happen. It shows that everybody's legitimate as well. Now, part of the reason why I make sure that I sign a contract and I make my client sign a contract is because not only does it show the client that I'm legitimate, but it also makes sure that they're going to live up to their obligations as well. If they're willing to sign a contract, you know that they're for real. They're not going to, uh, drop a bomb on you and not pay you or something like that because it's right there written in writing. Okay. Now, can you have verbal contracts? Well, yeah, you can have verbal contracts. Let's say you hire me to do your roof or something like that, and and you say I'm gonna pay you such and such money if you'll do the roof, and I agree to it. Whether we sign something or not, that's still a contract. But the thing is, that would be very hard to prove in court if it came up to you later. So that's why you always got to make sure you have a written contract. So I mean, just because it's not written down doesn't mean it's not a contract. Okay. But always make sure that you sign a contract and make your client sign a contract and you collect a deposit to reserve the date. Now, maybe you're thinking, okay, well, what if it's a friend of mine? Okay, well, I'm going to explain something to you that happened to me, and you can be your own judge on whether you want to do that. But for me, I make everybody sign a contract. I don't care if it's President Bush or whoever. They're going to they're going to be signing a contract. Now, I'm going to tell you why. Okay, this is a true story that happened to me a few years ago. I went out with a bunch of friends, and we had a network on America Online from our chat room group in the Florida Panhandle, and we all used to like to go out and hang out about once a month. Well, one of the girls in there was getting married, and she told me that she enjoyed me, and she'd listened to me on the radio online and things like that. And she knew me, and she knew me from for a while there. And she said, Stacy, I want you to DJ my wedding. I'm getting married next spring. I want you to be the DJ. I've heard all these good things about you and everything else because I had done other weddings and other events for people in our group. Okay, and she said she wanted me to DJ her wedding. I said, okay, well, that's great. So I asked her about the date, and of course, I was available. And I said, okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and send you a copy of my wedding information packet, which will explain a lot of things. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm also going to give you a discount because you are a friend. I've given everybody else in this group a discount. I'm going to give you a discount as well because you are a friend. Okay, well, that was fair enough. So I sent her the packet of information. She got back to me about a week later and said, hey, I definitely want to reserve you for my wedding. We definitely want you. We like what we see. And yeah, don't throw away my date. Don't give it to anybody else. Okay, so I did that. And I never quoted her a price. I said, okay, what we need to do is we need to sit down and talk about, how much I'm going to charge you and things like that. We're definitely going to work out a discount, but I want to find out, what all you're wanting and things like that. And I said, I tell you what I'll do. I'll plan a trip down here, and we can maybe get together and have dinner or something like that because she lived 2 hours away. And so I thought, well, okay, that'll be good. We'll do that. And but we never did. Okay, about 2 months later it passed. In that 2 months, I'd gotten several offers for that same date. Okay, and I turned it down because I said it was reserved. Okay, what ended up happening is at the end of those 2 months, I get an email from her. And she says, well, I hope you don't take offense to this, but I've decided I'm going to have to go with another DJ because I like what I see with him and what I've heard, and he just quoted me a cheaper price, and I just think that's going to better fit my needs than what you're willing to offer. I emailed her back and told her that yeah, that it definitely offended me because she had told me to reserve the date. Okay, now if she told me not to reserve the date, she had said, okay, I want to kind of look around a little bit, but your stuff sounds good. That would have been okay. I wouldn't have minded. But she specifically told me to reserve the date and took advantage of it, knowing that I was holding that date for her. Okay, and of course it did. It offended me. And I sent her an email back, and I said, well, look at it this way, okay? That would be just like me, us agreeing on a price or something like that, and me telling you, okay, I'm going to do your wedding for this much, and then another bride come to me and say, hey, I'll give you $15,000 for that date, and then I just say, okay, I tell you, okay, well, sorry, I can't do your wedding because I've had another bride here who's going to pay me a whole lot more. Well, would that be right? No, it wouldn't be right. And she really couldn't understand that. And so she got upset over that, and I got upset, and I just told her how I felt about that. I told her, it was a very poor decision on her part, and that wasn't very professional. I mean, I'd reserved the date for her, and I thought, well, I didn't take a deposit, I didn't make her sign a contract. I'd given her some slack, and she took advantage of it. That's the way I looked at it. Okay, well, you're probably thinking, okay, well, how did her wedding turn out? I didn't go to her wedding, okay, but I do have some friends that did go to it, and every single one of them told me the DJ was not good at all. And from what I understand, he only charged her about 200 bucks, and she got what she paid for. That's for sure. Basically, what everybody said is they said that he didn't know how to announce a wedding party. He didn't have a live show. He didn't play any of the music that anybody liked or recognized. And basically, he was just there, just set up, and was just playing, for the most part, background music while everybody socialized. Now, see, my friend had the potential to have a really good reception, where everybody could have been up dancing, having a good time, having a real interactive DJ and things like that. She could have had all that. But instead, she chose to be cheap and chose to go with this budget DJ, and well, it ended up ruining her wedding because I found that she was very disappointed in it as well. So that's something you got to think about. And when it comes to contracts, and I mean, I really hated that it put a damper on our friendship. I really did. I wish it hadn't, but unfortunately, it did. And she got what she paid for, and it basically ruined her wedding. And like I said, everybody told me that he did not do a good job at all. He just basically just sat up, played music and played music for the background. Everybody enjoyed being there socializing, but the DJ just really didn't really do anything to enhance the reception. He didn't have people coming up to him wanting business cards and saying, "Oh, you're so great, I like you, I want to hire you for my wedding," and things like that. No, he gave a very basic performance. He was very inexperienced. But that's what she got. That's what she paid for. So the rule of thumb there is you need to make sure that you always sign a contract. Okay, even if it is for a friend. And again, I mean, even if it is just for a friend, well, that shows them that you're legitimate, and it just gives them another reassurance that you're going to do what you're going to do. Okay. Now, 99% of my brides that I do weddings for, I could probably trust them without a contract. But again, I just like having that assurance. Okay, so that's something that you really need to keep in mind, and always make sure you collect the deposit. Now, do I reserve dates without a deposit in the contract? Well, here's how I handle that. If I have a bride that says, "Yeah, we definitely want to hire you for the wedding, but I don't have the money for the deposit right now," or go ahead and pencil us in. We haven't made a final decision. This is what I do in that. I'll tell them that I'm going to give them a pending reservation. Okay. And what do I mean by pending reservation? Well, what that means is I'm going to go ahead and just pencil them in for right now. But that date is not confirmed until we receive a contract deposit. Okay, so which means in between that time, if I get another offer, I'm going to go ahead and take it. And they understand that. They understand that it's not reserved, confirmed until I receive a deposit in the contract. Normally, what I'll do is if I have another bride calling me up for that particular date, and I've already told bride number one that I penciled them in, I will tell bride number two, "Hey, I've got a pending reservation for that date. Let me get back with you." And what I'll do is I'll call bride number one and say, "Hey, I've got somebody else here who is wanting to reserve the date that you requested, and they've got a deposit ready to go. So I'm going to give you a chance right now. If you want to go ahead and sign the contract, pay the deposit, I'll go in and give it to you. But I'm afraid that date's not going to be available too much longer." And usually, what happens, they usually go ahead and sign and give me the contract and deposit. So there you go. That's something you may want to keep in mind. But I will never reserve another date and tell another client that the date is taken unless I have a deposit in the contract from anybody. So just a little rule of thumb there for you guys starting out. Learned a valuable lesson on that. So keep that in mind. If you have got any questions or anything like that, feel free to give me a call. Or you can always just drop me an email at sndjentinc@aol.com or drop a comment down here. Practice and enjoy.